Where's it gone? Busy today, said the penguin. It's usually quiet. Many's the time I can drive along and only see a mouse on a motorbike or a pony driving a double-decker bus, he added matter-of-factly. Jack was astonished. He'd never heard or seen anything like it in his life, and he wondered what other amazing and intriguing sights he would be witnessing. Jack still didn't know whether he was heading. As he sped along, he began to get a little worried. He had no money and no way of getting back. The funny thing was he couldn't remember what or where he was returning to. It was at that moment that the monkey on the motorbike pulled up alongside them. Jack could see his eyes blazing through his goggles, and the speedometer on his bike was whizzing round madly. He wants to race, said Peter the penguin. I'll give him a race. And with that he put his flipper on the accelerator, and Jack fell back into his seat with a bump. Jack watched the black handle of the speedometer move up to 50, 60, 70, and then 100. The taxi was shaking and the engine was coughing and spluttering, and the inside of the car was getting hotter and hotter, as if it could explode. He was getting worried, but the penguin was laughing and smiling as if he was enjoying himself. Jack peered through the window at the motorbike, and he saw that smoke was pouring out of the exhaust, and he could see the beads of sweat dripping off the monkey's nose, to be swept away in the whipping wind. Faster and faster they went. They were bobbing and weaving in and out of the way of the slower traffic in front of them. Jack gasped as the speedometer went over 100. He could feel his bones and his teeth shaking along with the car. He tried to say, "Slow down," but his teeth were chattering so much that it didn't make sense. "Are you all right?" said Peter the penguin, laughing madly. He was having a great time, but Jack wasn't. Now the engine was really banging and rocking and smoke was pouring out. But Peter had no intention of slowing down, only speeding up. It was a matter of pride, and even though he was a polite penguin, he was definitely proud. Next chapter coming up, next section. Oh dear. Jack fastened his seatbelt. Now he was really beginning to get worried. It was like being on a runaway train, he thought, and the end result wasn't going to be good. The monkey on the motorbike was grinning wildly, and he was veering in front of the Mini as it taunted the driver. Twice Peter the penguin slammed on the brakes, and Jack was being pulled and pushed out of his seat. He looked up and he saw the large ominous shape of a lorry in front of them. It was so tall and huge that you couldn't see over, around, or around it. It blocked out the sun and cast a huge shadow across the road, as if someone had turned out all the lights. Peter tried to drive around it, and so did the monkey, but there was no going around it. They were stuck. Peter sounded the horn, but it was drowned out easily by the noise of the humongous truck. Then everything changed, and unknown to Peter and the risk-taking monkey, they were close to the end of the motorway. They weren't watching what they were doing. They couldn't see the lights changing until it was too late. Screech! The gigantic truck came to a shuddering stop, and the monkey screamed as he skidded towards the truck. He was weaving from side to side, and he managed with just a hair's breadth to miss the truck as he crashed through a wooden fence, sailed through a field of poppies, where he eventually came to a clattering stop. He was covered in flowers and seeds, and he was not pleased. Peter the penguin let out a high-pitched scream as he headed for the truck. There was no stopping, no escape. Jack closed his eyes and waited for the terrible, mangling, terrifying impact. He didn't feel anything. The last thing he saw was a truck coming towards him, and his final thought that he was going to be squashed like an orange. Hope you enjoyed that crazy chapter.